Okay, we're back. We are back. I don't know if anybody's still there. I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but here is my pot. I'm making spaghetti. And I think we're back on, honey. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So,
Please share again. I don't know what happened.
we have onions and garlic sweating. 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic. Now, we're throwing in the sauce. 1 can of crushed, 1 can of puree. You hear that?
Yep.
Okay. What you do is you add another half a cup, another half of tin
With water.
with water because it's going to boil for 2 or 3 hours and it's going to get thicker, but that's what it boils in. Okay?
Yep.
So now we have a whole onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 jars of sauce. Oh yeah, the spaghetti's cooking, honey. Spaghetti's cooking. Now we add a can of paste. Okay?
Please share, everybody.
The whole can. Something happened with Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just on our end. Maybe
No,
they
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So anyway, we got this going.
I use a whole can of paste.
We use a whole can. My grandmother came to this country and she lived in a tenement on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. It was like the Italian ghetto. So she didn't have room to make big cans of sauce and jar them. She made her own paste. She would get the tomatoes and she would dry out tomato sauce on the fire escape
That's some process.
with basil and all these things. It was crazy. Okay, now that's cooking.
Did you stir the pasta?
I just stirred the pasta. You gotta add some salt. About less than a teaspoon.
No, a teaspoon is
A
good.
teaspoon's good.
Good.
See that?
Yep.
You're gonna add some salt.
Thank you guys for coming back.
Thank you for coming back. I don't know what happened. I'm telling you, my ancestors, the place is haunted. Okay, now we have the sauce, the paste, everything's cool. Sometimes it's bitter. You don't know in the tomatoes that you get. And you don't know, sometimes there's batches, sometimes it's just bitter. And you get a little canned taste sometimes. So what you do is, you get some carrots. See these carrots? The sugar in the carrots sweetens the sauce.
Leave it in whole so you can fish it out.
We fish it out later, okay? We fish it out like they fished out Uncle Vito from the Hudson River. Okay? That's another story. 2 carrots. The sweet. Don't go into the sugar bowl.
It's a sugar bowl.
The sugar bowl. Don't go into the sugar bowl and do that. Natural. Natural. And now the meat.
Show them what you got.
Let me stir it again. One more time. One more time. Okay. Adding meat to your sauce is fantastic.
It flavors it great.
The only thing you have to do to brown the meat is when you use ground beef, like meatballs.
Or regular, just if you're putting ground beef in the sauce.
Right. Otherwise, you don't have to brown it. You throw in a whole thing of ribs. You throw in some sausage. You don't have to brown it. It goes right in, and it's got to be fatty.
Yes.
If you throw in something that's lean, be dry.
It's going to be dry.
I don't care how long. Look at the meat in the sauce. Look. Look at this.
I see it.
Oh.
We've put a roast beef in the sauce.
We put a whole roast beef, but it was
Steaks.
fatty.
You got to use a chuck cut because it's nice and fatty and it's got a lot of collagen in it and the meat breaks down beautifully.
And there you have it. Remember, if you want to get it sweeter, some people add wine. I don't add the wine because it makes it a little bit too
I think that
much.
adds acid.
It adds an acid, is right. So, if you want to add 3 carrots, that's fine. Okay? Now, look, I have the basil from the yard.
But we're not putting that into the one we're cooking now.
Right. We put this in at the end. Why, Christine?
Because if you cook the basil too much, the flavor becomes...
overbearing.
Yeah, and it's just too much. If you just put it in at the end, it stays nice and fresh.
Look at this. I roll it up.
Look at you.
You see this? Look at me. This is called julienne.
Julianne.
Julianne. Oh, Julianne. Okay. We put this in at the end, and you get the nice basil taste. And I'm going to show you.
Well, bring the thing over here.
I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to bring it on home. Okay. I'm going to bring the pot. We already did it.
How's that pasta cooking?
I'm going to check it. Okay? I'm going to check it out. What happened?
I don't know. Everybody said it just went off.
1 or 2 more minutes. And that's done. Okay. We made the same sauce.
We made it earlier.
Made it early.
How long did we cook it?
3 hours. If you put the raw meat in, it must cook 2 hours at least.
Yes, to cook, and not even to cook the meat all the way, to break it down and make it tender.
Right. And if I'm telling you, you put in lean beef, you're going to get dry. You have to put in fatty stuff. So, and if you want it hot, the sausage, buy hot sausage.
It leaches out into the sauce.
Now, sometimes I like a really spicy sauce. I don't put the flaked peppers. I'll buy 2 or 3 hot peppers.
Italian hot peppers.
Italian hot peppers. Put them in the sauce, and then you fish them out. Now, look at that pot of sauce. That's what we made. 3 hours.
On simmer, low simmer.
Simmer down. Look at this. Look at those ribs.
That's beautiful.
That's a beautiful rib.
I can't wait to get my mouth on that rib.
Yeah, you like your mouth on that rib. How about a mouth on this sausage?
I don't like sausages much.
Yeah, no kidding. Right. Ain't that the story of my life? Anyway, here's the carrot. You can throw it out.
That was a good idea. That was a good idea. Now your mouth is in the whole pot.
I'm not throwing nothing out. My mouth was in the pot. Your sister was in the pot.
And it's all over your shirt now.
That's okay. That's why you have to get the food out of your shirt. I love when people show up to the show and it's got sauce on it. It's boss. That's when I know. You're no fool.
Keep sharing,
now
please.
Look, the basil.
Nice.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Take that shot. Look at that. See that? Oh, it's in there.
And it stays nice and fresh tasting and smelling like that.
Oh, it smells like an angel. Okay. That sauce, I'll see it in 3 hours. And now we have a beautiful sauce here.
Are you going to do the thing when you're going to take the rib and do the thing?
I'm gonna. Just give me some. Look at this. Okay, this is 3 hours. Look. Right off the bone. Okay?
You could take that meat, chop it up, put it in your baked ziti.
Look at that. Take that meat. Look at that.
All right, that was...
Look how clean.
No need to do that with your fingers, though. You could really use a fork or a knife.
I like to do that, and when you serve it to the kids, it's just a big bowl of meat. Oh, big... Listen, this is what you do. You get up on Sunday. This is Italian culture. And you put the sauce on early. You put it on early. And then you go to church. Okay? And you know in church, you're like, oh, I can't wait. I remember the sauce was almost ready. And you know what Italians do? We find out who the priest is. Okay? Because you know every priest is different. Some of them, they go on, and you're starving. So we used to ask around, who's that 10:30 Mass today? Father Fonte. Oh, Father Fonte. He's skinny. He doesn't care about food. You know, we always say, when's Monsignor Romano? Monsignor Romano's a big man. He's thinking about macaroni through the whole Mass. And you're like, he's going to wrap this up early. See, that's what you need.
See, a lot of times when you have a cooking show,
yeah,
you don't make a mess on the plate.
No?
No, because...
I like a lot of sauce.
I know, but
that?
not all over the plate. Now you stuck your thumb in it.
Look. Look at that.
Oh,
Look how I cleaned it up.
That made a difference. That's nice. That's a nice plate.
That's my spaghetti sauce, honey. Okay? Look at the rib. Did I show you the rib?
You showed me the rib.
Did I? It came right off the bone. Look. This is a spare rib. Oh. It just melts in your mouth.
You know, you could also make it the night before because you're sitting around watching TV. Put the sauce on, just leave it on low.
Look at this. Look at this plate. Look at this fork full of beautiful pot.
Next day, you got a big pot of sauce. All you got to do is boil spaghetti.
I'm in heaven. Heaven.
And we know that you make the sauce like your grandma did, like your
Right.
mom did. That's great. Make it any way you want.
Make it any way you want.
Just showing you our version. You don't have to kill us about it.
If you cook it for an hour and a half, it's going to taste tart.
Yes.
Cook it for 2 or 3 hours. Put things in that are sweet if you like it a little sweet. Mmm. If you like it hot, put some hot peppers in. Fish them out later. Oh. And if you don't think the sausage is cooked, all we did was throw raw sausage in there. Look at that.
Perfect.
Mmm.
After 3 hours, it's going to be cooked.
For 3 hours. Okay? I'm just loving this. I'm glad everybody came over. I told you we lit a candle. Something crazy went on here tonight. My grandmother, both of them showed up. Here's to you, Grandma. I'm sorry I shared it, but the world's got to know. That's hot. Freddie Rubino here. Get the food out of here shirt at fredrubino.com. Share this recipe. I hope it came through. I don't know what happened. My ancestors, they interfered. It happened before. I love you guys. Christine loves you. And we are going to just eat a beautiful spaghetti dinner right here for you. I love you guys.